Today's daily recap is for Monday, March the 24th, 2025 for Beyond the Gates. It was all right. And we've get Ava. Now, for her to be Nicole's personal assistant working at home, she's always in the hospital. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I worked in the hospital for many years. And in order to be able to have any kind of access to patient records, and I don't care who you're working for, you still have to go through hospital clearance, right? You can't just be her home assistant coming to work having access, to her computer at work, which was interesting when they gave her access to Nicole's computer at work, because it's like, no, you're her personal assistant. There are background checks that hospitals do. So you can bring her personal laptop to work and work on it, because she's supposed to be doing her fundraising and all her personal stuff she does, not doctor stuff, carrying around files and everything else. So she sees Tomas. So she acts like, oh, she bumped into this cart. Ow! That came out of nowhere. And she pushed her little butt out, right? Oh, it hurt. Oh, look at my behind. Oh, my leg. So he picks up the files and he says, are you okay? Well, and then she's flirting, saying stuff to him. And she says, oh, you know what? I shouldn't take up too much of your time, because if Kat found out, she would have a heart attack. And she did that and the other. And he goes, did Kat say something to you? And so she goes, yeah, she saw us talking, you know, in the lobby of the fundraiser. No, the lobby of the club. And she mentioned something, pretty much stay away from you. So she goes, I mean, I know you two are a couple or something like that. And he goes, well, actually, I don't know what Kat and I are. We're just getting to know each other. And she's like, oh, really? Oh, and just flirty, and he knows it. And he's letting her know he's kind of interested in too, but he's not overtly flirting with her, but he's smiling and entertaining her, right? And so she ends up saying, well, you know what? I have to go, because I don't want, my boss is Kat's mother. And I don't even want her to get an idea that I'm after Kat's man. Right? Oh. And so she goes, oh, by the way, do you have a business card so that I could get your phone number in case I need an attorney or to sue for this injury I got on the job? And he looked at her. I don't remember him actually ever giving her his card, right? I don't remember him doing that. But anyway, Kat had texted him right after Eva walked away, saying, "Can you meet me at Orphe Jeans?" Or she may have even called him. I think she called him, and he said, "Sure, I can meet you there." So he goes there, and Kat brings up again. It seems like you're avoiding me now. You're not answering my text. You're not. He goes, yes, I have. He goes, just like you, it takes you a while to respond to my text. Sometimes when you text me, I'm in a meeting. And so she goes, yeah, that's right. We have been missing each other. So then she says, I was just wondering, were you avoiding me um, because of the whole, my situation, to where he goes, your aversion? you know, he goes, it doesn't bother me that why would I avoid you for that? She goes, just other relationships. She keeps saying that. That's like the third conversation they had separately where she says that. And so she goes, because I notice you're avoiding being close with me. You're avoiding, physical contact. She goes, now I don't mean all the way, but even kissing. You haven't even really kissed me. He did kiss her on their first date, but I don't think she said she was a virgin on the very first, when he had dinner at her mom's house. So he goes, "Oh, really?" She goes, "Kissing would be nice." And he goes, "Really?" So he leans in and they have a kiss. And she's all breathless about it and smiling. And he's, I think he's tickled with her. He's intrigued with her. And not just because she says she's a virgin. I think he's just intrigued with her as a person. But they're taking it slow. They aren't even dating each other. They're just starting to date each other or see each other. So it's very early on, and Kat could come in and throw a monkey wrench in there. She really could. So then we have, let's see, we have let me get my picture up. Doug. Doug is cleaning up. He's having a lucky night. Everybody at the table is losing. First, I thought his friend Ronnie set people up so that they could lose, right? He would lose to him, but he can't control who's playing the games. It's Joey who picks the players that come in and allow them to play. And so Joey came out saying that Doug is winning enough money to pay me back. And so Ronnie looked, he goes, "He's having a good night." And he goes, "Yeah, good night," which could get him out of debt. And so Ronnie says, "But he will be paying your money back with interest." He goes, "It's not about the money. It's about what he can do for me. And a free man would owe me nothing." So he looked and he goes, "You know what? Let him have his winning night tonight. Let him have it. Because tomorrow night, he's going to lose it all and some. Watch. Tomorrow night, Joey's going to fix it so that he's got some card shark folks playing. He's going to be paying them to play. And he's going to be paying them to take Doug's money. That's exactly what's going to happen. And Doug is stupid enough to think he's the master of all card playing. And they're going to clean him out tomorrow, 100%. Now, Doug and Vanessa were at Orphe Jeans, right? And having breakfast. And his little text kept going off with Ronnie saying, "Hey, the great night. There's gonna be a big game tonight, and blah blah blah. I want to see you in the house." And Vanessa's like, "Oh goodness, is that important?" Because he kept looking at his phone. He goes, "No, we're getting a new cardiology machine," and he's just describing this fictitious machine like you would not believe. And she goes, "But won't that put you out of business, honey?" And he goes, "No, because, I'm able to diagnose more people, blah, 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 whatever crap he said." So he goes, "Ooh, as a matter of fact, I got to get to the hospital." So he jumps up, takes his phone, but he leaves his ID. And as he clears the door, she sees it. And she goes, "Doug, your ID." Whatever. you know, so who comes walking by their little booth but Joey? And he goes, "Mrs. whatever their last name is." And she looked, she goes, "Yes. Have we met?" He goes, "I've been looking for you. I understand you are just the person I need." And she's like, "What?" And he goes, "May I sit?" As he's sitting. And she looks, she goes, "Well, actually," as he goes, "May I sit?" "Well, actually, I'm getting ready to," he goes, and he sits down and she's like, "Well, okay." Then he comes up with this story about his mother, she's elderly. He wants to do something nice for her. He doesn't want her in a assisted living place. He wants her to have a beautiful home of her own that is handicap retrofitted, you know, and so the care could be in the mother's house and blah, blah, blah. She's like, "Well, that's a beautiful gesture. A son wanting to make sure his mother is well cared for." And so he goes, "Yeah." And they were talking. And so he kind of says, I know you'll be able to find me the perfect home. And she's like, oh, yeah, because in her mind, commissions, commissions. So as they're getting ready to leave, oh, Doug comes back in because he realized he forgot his ID. And he sees Joey talking to Vanessa. And he's like, mm-mm. So he walks over to the table and he goes, hey, honey, I came back for, she goes, your badge, you left it. So she gets it off the table and gives it to him. And so she goes, oh, Doug, I want you to meet Joey, whatever his last name is. And so he goes, oh, nice to meet you, Doctor. And he says Doug's last name. And so she goes, well, he says, what's going on here? He wants me to find his elderly mother, the perfect home. And he goes, oh, okay, okay. But listen, I got to get to the hospital. And he's thinking, what's he doing with my wife? So he gets to the hospital and he had called, I guess, Ronnie to come over to the hospital, or Ronnie was just there. Because remember, he had been texting Doug and Doug hadn't been answering. So Ronnie's just at the hospital, maybe. And he was saying, I just saw Joey cozying up to my wife. Why would he be doing that? And what was his name? I just said his name. Ronnie. Ronnie's like, wait, what? Or is it Randy? Whoever knows, whatever his friend's name is. Um, and he says, wow. He goes, what would he want with my wife? He says, I don't know. Are you sure? I mean, what were they meeting about? He says he's looking for a house for his mother. So he goes, well, maybe he's looking for a house for his mother, you know? So anyway, he goes, look, we got hot game tonight. You gonna be in the house? I wanted to make sure. So he's like, yeah, I'm going. So he went with him then. Of course you did. Right? Of course he did. We also have, let's see. Oh, Jacob the detective. Remember he talked to his dad. I don't know if we mentioned this last week. Oh no, earlier in the show today, that he had some concerns with the old detective that he's partnered with. And he told him, he goes, Daddy, he looks the other way. And some things I don't think should be looked the other way on. He goes, like what? And he told him about seeing Joey passing money right there in the open on the street, envelope full of money. And he goes, that should have been investigated. And he goes, but yet he told me, don't do anything. It's nothing. So his father says, oh, okay, well, look, he does have a lot of wisdom and knowledge that you can learn from, but do not compromise, your integrity. And he goes, no, I won't. I won't. But I'm just saying there's something about him. So Jacob's father comes down to talk to him, the old detective. And he goes, where's my son? Where's Jacob? He goes, I sent him telling him there was a disturbance at the donut shop. Now, mind you, I had placed me a donut order that he was too stupid to figure out what I was doing and pick up my donut order. And Jacob's father looked at him. He goes, you know, we used to do that stuff back in the day, you know, the little bit of hazing here and there. He goes, but Jacob doesn't need that. And the old detective looked at him. He goes, my son is not a rookie cop. My son's a detective, right? So he's past all that. And I'm going to tell you, you need to do your job. Because, see, Jacob's father knows about this old fart's activities, right? And he goes, do not have my son asking me questions about your questionable activities. He said, because see, then that's going to make me have to address things. And so the detective's like, yeah. He goes, do you understand what I'm saying? And he goes, and another thing, if anything ever happens to my son, I'll be right here. You won't even have to turn around I'll be right there, right in front of your face. That's my boy. Am I making myself clear? And he looked at him and he goes, loud and clear. And I thought, oh, okay. Oh. Now, the detectives, Jacob's dad, I don't know his name, he was in Naomi's house, not Naomi, Anita's house earlier, because there's some fundraiser that they're using her expertise to help bring together. So they were talking about it. And she was pretty excited to do it. And they just talked a little chit chat at first. How's the wife? She's a dispatcher, you know, and she's been there for years, can quit, but she won't, blah, 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 whatever. No, nothing stuff. And so he ends up leaving. And we cut to Naomi at the precinct talking to Jacob, saying that she just doesn't know about the case. Should she take it? Should she not? Because she brought him some lunch. And he goes, you didn't just bring me lunch. He goes, something's on your mind. And so she was telling him, and she goes, what should I do, Jacob? He goes, Naomi, I can't tell you what you should do, but I do know who can. So then the next scene, she's coming in the house talking to her, hey, grandma. And she goes, whoa, what do I owe this pleasure? And they're talking, and they end up chit chatting minor stuff about, when Anita was in the business and what made you quit. When did you decide to quit? And blah, 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 blah. And then she was telling her grandmother, she said, grandma, I was approached. I can't give you all the details because of, confidentiality, but there's a group of women who want to file a lawsuit against my father's firm. And no other attorneys will take it. I'm pretty much their last hope. But I don't know. Our family has been through so much. This is going to be a very publicized case. And I just don't want to bring our family, black into the spotlight again. And so Anita says, baby, we're the Prees. We're going to always be in some kind of spotlight. She's like, don't let that bother you. We can handle some press, if you press. So she goes, what is it, Naomi? Do you feel you can't win against your father? Because I understand those are some big shoes to fill. I understand that. Do you feel you're the best shot these ladies have? And she goes, I'm not afraid to take on my father. I'm not. And I feel I could win. It's, she says, I just want to make sure should I do it? You know? And so Naomi says, I'm going to tell you something. You're a Dupree woman, and we rise to whatever occasion and we knock down walls. So whatever you choose to do, Naomi, this whole family's going to support you, whatever you choose to do. And baby, I asked you, did you feel you can't win against your father? But I never told you what I think. She goes, oh, I know you. I know you can win this case against your father. I know it. So she just kind of looked at her grandmom, and then they started talking about Anita's career again. And she got up and was saying, did a rap, right? She said, I keep up with the times. So she did a rap, and Naomi's like, oh, grandma got some skills. And she's like, come on up here, honey. And Naomi couldn't do a doggone thing with that rap. That was kind of funny. Anita had her beat with that. So that pretty much was it, everybody. Nothing else really happened on the episode today. We've got Chelsea still hasn't told her mother, and we've got Vanessa, her boy toy from the club. After Joey left, he came around. Everybody meets around that at Orphe Jeans, and he goes, "Ooh, you going from young stud to old fart?" She's like, "It's none of your business who I see." And that's blah blah blah. He's got money and he's looking for a house, so I could choose whichever way I want to go. So they get back to the club, and then of course they end up. He's supposed to be working, training her, but they end up kissing, falling back into another one of the club rooms. It's like, my God, that's Motel 6 up at that club. Unbelievable. But that's it, everybody. That's it that happened today. We missed Thursday and Friday because of March Madness. So let's go to Comment Corner. Comment Corner, let's see, Beyond the Gates. We've got some comments. Let's see how many. I don't know if I'm going to read them all, but there's not too many. Uh, Krista says, the ages are often don't work on any soap opera. I know, they just don't. Sewing Room says, poor Eva. She really wants to be a part of the Richardson family. Sewing Room also said, I thought Ted and Nicole met on a doctor's retreat. They did. And he left Leslie, Sherry, Dana to be with Nicole. So wouldn't that make Eva older than Martin? I don't even know. It's crazy. Eva and Kat look closer in age. I think Eva is the middle child. The math ain't mathin'. No, it's not. And last week we learned that he and Dana were together. Remember, they were supposed to have dinner, and he canceled because it was him and Nicole's first year anniversary. So he was having an affair, and that's going to come out. And then only one says, I am just glad the episodes are replayed on BET so I can watch them after work. I'm hooked. Oh, good. And then Jess K says, adoption can happen at any age under 18. I think Martin and Smitty have teenagers. They could have more storylines with teens than children, which is true. From Martin and Smitty's conversation about the kids' adoption, it sounds like they were children. Yeah. They were in any range between 5 and 11. Yeah, they were, I think, more closer to 5 or 6 or 7, somewhere in there. However, I get it, Daily Recap Lady. The age difference between the kids and the parents are weird, but it does happen. I felt sorry for Eva. She wants a relationship with her maybe dad and LSD. That's funny. And she's crazy too, right? I like that name for her. And LSD wants to destroy Ted and Nicole's marriage. I wonder what Eva will do. Bill is going to go bankrupt with a wife like Haley, buying her gifts to shut her up sounds exhausting. Remember though, Nicole made a statement when Eva was talking to her and was saying that, your sounds like your marriage was fairy tale, your relationship, you guys never had an argument. And Nicole said, oh no, don't get me wrong, our relationship's like many others. She said there were quite a few tears in the beginning and fights. She said, but we've been able to work that out. So there may be something where Nicole found out something, right? Angela says, am I the only one that thinks Danny's curtains are hideous? I don't like any of the decorum in Danny's house whatsoever. It looks like a studio apartment. I don't like it. Not a place that Bill, whatever, Hamilton lived in for raising your kids for 30 years. No, that ain't the place. And you buy your new wife this mansion? No, makes no sense. And then Lucy says it looks like Nurse Ashley has romantic feelings for her partner Andre. Ugh, I like her with Derek, the big brawny firefighter. Why can't there be a happily ever afters in soap operas? It's just soap operas, right? I knew she was going to start thinking about Andre. That was ridiculous. Lucy also says, great end of the week episode of BTG's. Tune in Monday for more soap drama. And then Purple Turquoise says, I hope Bill and Haley divorce is coming soon, but Danny needs to really leave them alone and let them be. Let them self-destruct and implode all on their own, together like uh, the to, together like the definitively toxic couple they are. And speaking of her, Danny is headed for some deep trouble if she doesn't stop chugging down bottles of alcohol like they're water. I'm glad Andre slipped into her place and went to Nicole, slipped out of her place and went to Nicole's and told her that um, he suspected was going on with Danny, or what he suspected was going on with Danny, when her family isn't with her, and because she now really feels downright lonely. Yes, she is. Just Kay says, I like that Andre told Nicole about Danny without giving up too much information. Yep, that's a good pacing storyline. As for Haley, the girl got the title homewrecker, which doesn't earn you respect. If you want friends and respect, you need to live in a different community, not Fairmont Crest. That is so true. That's so true. All right, everybody, that is it for Comment Corner, and that's it for the daily recap of Beyond the Gates.